Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select 1 team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Tuesday to you. It's a Taco Bell Tuesday here at BroncoNationNews.com. We got the sports director over at KTVB, our man Jay Tust, joining us. An off day, at least on the practice field for the Boise State football team today. There are 5 practices in. We're kind of at officially this is day 7, I guess, of fall camp, Jay. So a nice kind day to kind of reset and give our observations and thoughts from the first week. And then tomorrow morning, it really ramps up with that first full padded practice. But it's always fun. Taco Bell Tuesday. Excited to be here on BNN Live. How we doing, Jay?
I'm good. Yeah, I finally feel like we've kind of hit our stride a little bit, at fall camp, and position battles maybe starting to kind of play out a little bit. I wasn't comfortable with determining anybody having a significant advantage after 2 practices, but I think we're almost getting to that point now where there's enough body of work that we can kind of start to determine that. And I think the separator really comes, as you just mentioned, BJ. Tomorrow morning's the first full padded practice. So, I think that probably by this weekend, I think we'll have a fairly good idea of probably who leads, whatever position battle races there are out there.
Again, our title sponsor is rowpaint.com, ROEpaint.com. All your painting needs. Make sure you check out our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. And as Jay said, Saturday will be the first scrimmage as well. So it'll be a closed scrimmage. We will be allowed to watch practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll have interviews, stuff there. And then I think it's a scrimmage in the morning, late morning, I guess, on Saturday. And then we will get to talk with Spencer Danielson for the first time after fall camp. And the one thing about Spencer has been he's been pretty honest and willing to answer questions about who's going to be first in there. And I would suspect, compared to similar years with quarterback battles and similar, types of press conferences, I would suspect, and maybe it changes, that we would get more out of Spencer on Saturday in terms of the QB race, and maybe we've gotten after a first scrimmage from some other coaches.
If you're a betting man, you're probably right on that. He's still probably got to play it a little close to the vest just because this still is a competition and there are feelings involved in all that stuff. But I mean, at the pre-fall camp press conference, he came right out and said that Maddox Madsen would be running the Blues right out of the gate. Everybody would get their opportunity, and we've seen that, by the way. But it's only a week into fall camp, and we'll see how much he wants to reveal, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. Second day in a row, they were in the indoor yesterday. We got some footage from our man Jaden Finch was out there for us yesterday, getting some footage. Was there the whole practice, Jay. Saw you out there. It was unfortunate because it ended up being a beautiful evening. I know they said, it was, I guess there was a quick rainstorm or they thought it might rain, didn't want to have to go back and forth, but I never saw it rain downtown, and it ended up being, when I walked out of practice at 7:15 or whatever, just an absolutely beautiful evening. But they were back in the indoor in shoulder pads for the second straight day.
I will say this: when I left my house, BJ, to go to practice, it's like a 4-foot walk to my car from my garage, and I was absolutely drenched. And as I was shutting the door, I heard thunder, and I was like, "Oh man, this is going to throw things off." By the time I got downtown, though, it was pretty nice. Either way, they decided to move practice inside. It was actually the second straight unplanned practice inside, BJ, because the day before they moved it in there because of air quality, right?
Yeah.
So this is what Spencer kind of said in ways that he wanted to test his team, though, kind of mixing it up, not always being so predictable. I don't know if this is exactly what he meant, but, a last-second practice change, 2 days in a row here. It's funny, BJ, it's probably more work on the EQ staff. I assume some guys like to wear different, cleats and things when they're on the grass practice field versus on the indoor practice turf or things like that. So keeping everybody on the edge of their toes, I suppose, edge of their seat, tip of their toes, edge of your toes, whatever.
There you go. I don't know how the players feel about it, Jay, but I don't like the indoor. It's dark. It's not great for video. It's not great for, I'm sure, for your stuff. It's not great for photos. Just the look of it, of these empty white walls, and it just feels dark in here. And I know they have to do it with the lights to not want to shine right down on the field, so they kind of shoot them up into the ceiling and then it reflects down. But it always seems super dark in there. To me, at least, whenever we walk in, I'm like, oh, turn on the lights. I look up, oh, they're on. And it just, I know they like, as you said, the only scheduled indoor practices are supposed to be for the Inferno practices that are coming up. I think there's one later this week or here in the next 10 days or so. But I just, when I got the text that it got moved to the indoors and I was on my way, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bummed. I'm not a huge fan of the indoor, especially when it ended up being a nice evening. But at least that turf is fairly new. I know they put a lot of money into that in the last couple of years. The turf's still in really nice shape. And they can still get the same amount of work done. I mean, it's a 100-yard, indoor field. I just like being outside better personally.
Yeah, look at Prince Strong, by the way, not going through the motions there, going up and high pointing that ball, looking good. All these guys are doing that for that matter. Excited about this wide receiver group. But you're exactly right. Once you get a little bit, that natural light is always better than this mixed light, whatever we get inside inside the cabin. I'll take it. I'm happy to be able to watch practice, and I know you are too. But I would way rather be outside, especially the blue. The blue's awesome to shoot on, especially when it's like 5 o'clock at night in the summer. You get beautiful contrast, beautiful natural light, and unfortunately, we didn't get to take advantage of that yesterday. It's funny, BJ, how you realize these things now after kind of switching over a little bit and being less print and a little more video. I don't remember you complaining about that, 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, I think when we did video, I always disagree. But I agree with you totally. Now, Johnny says that I'm complaining. Says the guy who showed up in a. By the way, we had Johnny. I'll just throw it out there. I had a little prank pulled on Johnny. There was a scout there, Jay, that I looked more official than a real scout. He had the slicked back hair and he had his shirt tucked in. I told Johnny that was the GM of the I originally said Saints. I said, Alex said that's the GM of this. I think this thing he goes, that's not Mickey Loomis. And he Googles it. And I said, it was another team. I forget which one. So I said, I think the Panthers maybe. So Johnny, of course, runs right over to Alex and checks, is that the GM of the Panthers? He goes, I think so. Johnny Googles it, and it was a totally random guess, but the dude with glasses on actually kind of looked like the guy that is the GM of the Panthers. And so there's like 4 of us all huddled around. That's him. And so is that him? Is that really him? We're like, yeah, that's him. And
that's so
I think Johnny was pretty close to walking over and talking to the guy, and then we kind of said, no, Johnny, that's not actually him. We're just messing with you. But
that's hilarious.
Johnny, man, he likes to walk around the field and shake hands with everybody and talk to everybody. And he sees you talking to a player's dad. And as soon as you walk away, Johnny has to be the next one to run over there and shake hands. But we love Johnny.
I love Johnny.
I'm not going to lie, though. The first 40 minutes of practice before he got there may have been the best 40 minutes of the practice. But
That's the first 40 or the first 40 minutes that we could shoot yesterday. Not a lot of open periods yesterday compared to some of these other practices. That's fine though. All good. Not true. Johnny's trying to defend his honor now. It's so funny, BJ.
We got him on tilt. We got him on tilt now.
Might be true. That might be true. Johnny's been crushing it this year.
He has.
I don't want to sometimes I think our perspective might be a little off, BJ, just because we haven't been able to be at full practices before, right?
Yep.
And so when we say things like, I don't know, maybe it happened and people walked in after we left. I don't know. But what's that about? Yeah, new fun things you can do here, or what's going on with that?
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you?
No, I didn't touch it.
I have no idea what the hell.
Is your daughter over there messing with your
I don't know. Anyways.
Do that again. How'd you do that?
I literally have no I said the word fun. Nope, nothing. I don't know. No idea how that just happened. Maybe Johnny's
I think Johnny might have logged into StreamYard and is messing with us here.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, so when I say stuff like I feel like I've seen more NFL scouts this year. I do, but I really can't confirm whether or not that's the case. But every single practice, it feels like there's a few NFL scouts out there. And while there has certainly been a presence in the past, I don't feel like I've noticed it every fall camp practice before. And again, maybe that's just because of our axis has changed.
Yeah.
So I don't want to dismiss that or say this is certainly a black and white thing, but it's definitely noticeable that every practice it seems like there's a few NFL scouts hovering around the sidelines.
I thought you were going to bring that up to talk quarterbacks, and because in the past we haven't really seen a ton of the team drills.
Yeah,
we're trying to make determinations on throwing into nets and things, and having no idea of what's going on. Now we're able to see this. But even when you report what you see, Jay, some fans aren't happy. I mean, we're kind of in a tough spot here because you either have to mention every single touchdown, every single throw, every single interception, or if you just try to pick out a highlight. I saw on your Twitter feed you were getting a little flack last night, and I hadn't even seen that. I posted something about both quarterbacks, and somebody wrote back, oh, nice to see somebody that's given both sides of it, and I didn't know what they were talking about. And I guess there was something. I guess if you say someone did good, that's a net. That means you want them to be the starter.
I'm pretty sure I was the one that said everybody needs to pump their brakes and not name a starter. And by the way, pointing out a play doesn't mean I'm anointing anybody as the starter or having an advantage in the race. It was just literally pointing out a play that happened. More than anything, BJ, the point, the significance of the tweet that I thought that I sent out was that Boise State broke right into, I mean, of course, after stretching and stuff like that, but once they get into their periods, opening period, right into 11 on 11 team drill. And again, that just goes back to the trying to keep things off pace, I guess, at practice in a good way, meaning not surprising and seeing how guys handle situations. And yes, they've done this before, but the significance of yesterday was not even quite a full weekend of fall camp. And Spencer wanted to see how those guys could mentally perform right at the start of practice, obviously, and so they jump into team right away. And Maddox Matton threw a beautiful deep ball. I will say this: it wasn't necessarily caught, but it wasn't on Maddox. I was standing right next to a former Boise State football player that was very, very good while he was at Boise State, and he said, "Man, that was a perfect ball right there. That ball could not have been thrown any better."
Yeah. And there's this narrative, Jay, that we want a certain guy to be the quarterback or whatever.
I don't know why on earth. I have no idea why people would think that we want one or the other. I think it was Jordan Morales or somebody. I can't remember. Somebody tweeted it. No, I don't think it was Jordan. Although he would probably have this take, just let the best quarterback win. And I don't, this isn't necessarily for. I'm probably overstepping my boundaries here, but I would also kind of hope that whatever QB the coaches decide, and I say this out of you hear things. I mean, Mitch Garver for the Seattle Mariners is having an awful year, and he's getting hate and death threats and just some really stupid stuff that social media allows access to these players for, right? I'm not saying that it's going to be this extreme, but just stuff like that makes me think, whoever wins the job and whoever loses the job, make sure you're thinking of their mental health before you just want to be a keyboard warrior with an opinion. And I think that's something very that should be really, really considered in this whole thing. And so, regardless of who wins and loses for that matter, just take some of that into consideration, because if somebody goes out and wins the job that you, for whatever reason, don't feel like should win the job, he won the job in the eyes of a guy that has been doing this for like 40 years at an extremely high level. And so I would just trust that person's opinion and run with that.
And I would throw back, because people have brought up to me, oh, you were big Talon Green guy last year. I was, but I also more was just, I think I said numerous times, I would play either guy, just play somebody and stick with them. I did think Talon Green got kind of a raw deal, but I wasn't necessarily team Talon Green. I was just, hey, if you're going to play Maddox Madsen 90% of the snaps, just start him. You don't need to play one play for the guy and switch him. So I was more just pick a guy and stick with him. But I mean,
that was a convoluted like situation last year.
But I guess that's just kind of carrying over, and it's just people are like, oh, you want Maddox, or you want Nelson. Like, would you say it's 80% too high or too low in terms of how many fans you think want it to be Nelson? 80%.
Maybe a little too high, but like I get what you're saying.
And I guarantee you the person that tweeted back at you wants Nelson. So when you're making something about Maddox Madsen, it's like you're trying to publicly campaign for Maddox Madsen. No, we saw a touchdown, we saw a pass, and we told you about it. Like
I am literally excited that I just get to send that tweet. Not about Maddox, just that we can actually tweet about something that happens at practice. And what I mean by that is, by agreeing to be able to go shoot some portions of practice, there are certain periods that are embargoed, and we cannot pass that information along.
Yep.
So no,
what?
I don't know what this is about. I have no idea what this is about. Found a new function though, BJ. So it is.
You are on your phone. You are on your phone this morning. I think that's part of it.
Maybe that's it, but I don't remember turning on any like crazy emojis or anything like that. So
you're pulling away from the little ones before the show starts.
I guess she was just FaceTiming with Bompa for like the last half hour. So that was the case. That they every week or once every week or so they FaceTime over breakfast. So Bompa's grandpa, by the way. We'll just pretend that that ball game's doing this, for that matter. Maybe he's the one that snuck in and changed the settings on my phone.
I guess the bigger point is, Jay, like
I want to connect one thing that you just said though about going back to Talon and in that situation last year. We were always told one thing and we always witnessed another. That was the point of frustration. I will say this: so far this fall camp, what we were told prior to fall camp is continuing to play out in practice. For the most part, Maddox Madsen is operating with the Blues. Other guys are getting their opportunities, but what we have been told is aligning with what we are seeing. So words match action, and we cannot say that was the case for a huge part of last season, when this quarterback competition really was truly a quarterback controversy because of how it seemingly was handled.
No doubt. And so I guess the bigger point is that, we cover the team. We are not fans of the team. We don't really care. Like, does it help our business when the team wins? Sure. I guess if there's a better guy that gives better quotes, would you like to talk to him than a guy who never like says anything good? I guess. Sure. But I've never talked to Malachi Nelson yet. So I can't tell you if he's an amazing quote or a terrible quote. We'll find out next week, but we're not putting out practice clips based on, or tweets based on who, I've only done that one time in my life, Jay. One time in my life, about 8 years ago. I'm standing on the sidelines on the blue for a practice. A ball goes deep. There's a pass completed out of bounds. The DB got burned. He had 20 yards to get out of the way, and he charged right for me. And he easily could have got out of the way. I don't know if he was mad about something I had written or was just mad that he got beat and needed somebody in his way, and was really close to just completely trucking me over. And I don't know if you remember this or not.
I have no clue.
I'll tell you off air who the DB was. It was about 8 years ago, one of my first couple of years here. But he had plenty of time to peel out of the way on the sidelines and didn't, and was charging right for the group of media members there. And so there was some contact, but I kind of got out of the way. I made sure in my post-practice report that I posted to our website that I mentioned the DB got burned on a long pass down the right sideline. Because he tried to take us out. But
is that the same guy that high-fived me and said, "Have a good day"?
it might have been about 10 seconds before that happened. Yeah.
Just kidding.
But no, all kidding aside, we do not post our posts and make our tweets based on who we want to get a whatever. That's just not how it works. And so the best quarterback will get the job. But with that said, Jay, again, people can whatever they want, but 5 practices in, if Maddox Madsen, and again, we have to be careful because we can't talk about who got how many reps with this team or who got this and that. But what I would say, Jay, to toe the company line here, if Maddox Madsen went in as number 1, based on what Dirk Cutter told us, that he was the starter going into fall camp, I have been impressed with some things I've seen from Malachi Nelson, but just based on the whole body of work from the practices and what we are seeing in terms of who's practicing where and with who and whatever else, I personally have not seen enough or anything to say that what we were told a week ago by Dirk Cutter has changed to this point.
I agree with you. I think that's the best way to put it too, whether it be Spencer Danielson or Dirk Cutter for that matter. I think that everything is continuing to kind of, play out and hold true to what they told us as prior to fall camp. And I don't see anything that's changed at this juncture.
I think the scrimmage on Saturday is going to be telling. They'll tell us that, and we'll hear from Spencer. And again, afterwards on Saturday, Spencer will talk, and I think that will give us, some things that we have not been able to talk to the quarterbacks. We'll see when that is. I will say this, Jay. I know we can't report on specific injuries and things, but they had a decent number of guys yesterday standing on the sidelines, for a practice. I mean, it was when you see some of those highlights, you can just notice. And I think a lot of it's small bumps and bruises and all that. But I guess what I'm saying is the receiver rotation, O-line rotation, it's so hard to tell who's starting, who's number 2, who's where, because they're just moving so many guys around. Because sometimes in fall camp, a lot of guys get banged up and need a day or 2 off.
Yeah, that also just could be. Excuse me. I think overall, Spencer's message in his pre-fall camp press conference was, keeping guys fresh. Practices are, and I actually confirmed this with somebody that used to be at Boise State. Practices are a little shorter right now to start things. Maybe that's changing, now that they're 5 practices in. But just those initial first couple of practices, they are just maybe a little shorter. But that's what Spencer Danielson, said, that there was going to be this gradual buildup, and he wanted to make sure that guys were fresh. And I think you'll agree with me on this, though, too, BJ. Guys do seem fresh. Practices are spirited. Practices are fast.
It was only 13 periods yesterday. That's one of the shorter periods I can remember.
Yeah, these practices never, and it's really funny because I almost kind of anticipated that when we would go to these practices, being able to access the whole things, BJ, that there'd be a point in time where you'd look up and you'd be like, oh my gosh, we're in period 10. This thing is dragging.
Yes.
And that honestly, though, that really hasn't been the case for me too much. For the most part, these practices seem to go by pretty fast, and they're efficient. And the players continue to talk about how awesome the efficiency of all this thing is.
I want to try something here, Jay. I'll ask you a question. And then give me an answer here. Or I guess finish off this. If you want to continue getting paid by Bronco Nation News for your segments here, can we get 2 thumbs up? It didn't work. Oh, there it is. Whoever knew that, one of the commenters just said 2 thumbs up makes the fireworks. There you go.
All right, Jared.
No. So what does that do?
Nothing. What about 2 down?
No, we're seeing the
rain. All right, there we go. Yeah, two thumbs down for practice being inside yesterday because Boise decided to drop a little bit of this on everybody. What is
the greatest single moment in the history of Bronco Nation News? That is
what
awesome.
Is happening right now.
That is awesome. And usually, a lot of those things don't work when you're still that's one thing for a FaceTime or whatever, but I didn't know for a random thing like this that would still work.
Did I really give 2 thumbs up earlier then? I'm not like a 2 thumbs up guy, but apparently I will be now.
Yeah, I wonder what that.
Whatever.
That's hilarious. Okay, let us know if there's any other. What else can we get Jay to do in the background here? All right, there are some other observations. So we to wrap up the quarterbacks, things can still change, but we feel that Maddox Madsen at this point has done nothing in our eyes to have any change from what the coaches said going into fall camp.
Yeah,
that'd be correct. All right, let's get to some other observations here on some practices. I want to give Jonah Dalmas a shout out for something he did yesterday as well. But first, our studio sponsor, Due West, they got a cool deal going right now. You can use that promo code, or you can go to the BroncoNationNews.com website, click on their logo. For the month of August, you can use the QR code and get a free appetizer and dessert with the purchase of 2 entrees. So we're telling you about the Western Collective Group and all they have going on. And down there, the 3 restaurants that are in that location, downtown Boise, 610 West Idaho Street. They got 3 locations, or 3 restaurants into one now. It's a brand new thing. It's awesome. And Due West is American fine dining. It's bringing a fresh take on American fine dining inspired by contemporary Western culture. The diverse menu is designed to take you on a culinary adventure that will delight your taste buds. You can start your meal with a tableside made bone marrow old fashioned or smoked sage margarita. You can continue it on with the duck tostados, the whipped feta, or the elk meatballs. The menu also features a $50 burger with foie grass, bone marrow, and truffle. And a decadent piece of goodness, man. And by the way, if you like steaks, they got the bison ribeye. So again, our man Carey is doing tremendous stuff. This is a brand new restaurant. They just opened inside the House of Western there downtown, Due West, and I highly recommend it. And again, they're giving away, and let's show them right off the bat that his advertising is working, folks. You can use this QR code, or you can go online, click BroncoNationNews.com. When you see the logo for Due West, you click on it on the ad, and it gets you a free appetizer and dessert with the purchase of 2 entrees. So we appreciate them. Check them out. That's Due West, part of the Western Collective Group. RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com. Check them out as well. All your painting needs, whether it's your, interior, exterior residential painting, whether it's those concrete coatings. We highly recommend the concrete coatings. They do great stuff there at RoePaint.com. So check them out, ROEPaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They got a branch pretty much in every corner, but the easiest, the mobile e-branch online banking is right there in your pocket. And don't forget, they do home loans as well. Brent Cotter out there at one of the Nampa locations did a tremendous job helping us with our home loan process. And we have our home loan now through Idaho Central Credit Union. So all your banking needs, make sure you check out our friends out at Idaho Central Credit Union. Matt Boucher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. He helped us buy and sell our home, and he can help you buy or sell your home with ease. BoucherRealEstate.com. Make sure you check him out. And again, best in the business. And Kelly, Cade, Sarah, Matt, the whole crew. I knew the stats said it, but I found out firsthand why Matt Boucher and his team are the best. You can check them out at BoucherRealEstate.com. And Ridley's Family Markets. I know some folks are heading up to McCall for the weekend before school starts. Take your cooler, but leave it empty, and then just go to Ridley's when you pull into McCall and get your ice, your meat, everything you need for your camp out. They got locations across the Treasure Valley, the Magic Valley, all around the state of Idaho and the surrounding states. So check them out. They got almost 30 locations pretty much in the Northwest. They got some in Utah, Wyoming, all around here. So check them out. Our friends at Ridley's Family Markets. And again, download that Skip app on your smartphone. Get savings up to 40% off. And you can get more details there at shopridleys.com. All right, Jay. Jonah Dalmas, they did a kind of fun period at the end of practice, 2-minute. They're basically simulating 2-minute offense. They had 1 timeout left, and I think it was 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock. They started at about their own 30 or so and had to try to get into field goal range to win the game. They were down by 2. Both Maddox Madsen and Malachi Nelson. Sorry, my son Nelson walked in. I almost said the wrong name. Malachi Nelson and Maddox Madsen both did leave touchdown drives, not even field goal drives. Both did lead touchdown drives in the 2-minute offense, even though they were only down by 2. Matt Lauder had a huge catch that got him moving. I think Matt Wagner had a touchdown pass or touchdown catch. And then Latrell Caples had a great diving catch on a throw from Maddox Madsen. But there was one period, and I believe it was Nelson was the quarterback. I forget, but he got him into semi-field goal range. It was going to be a 57-yarder. They could have ran another play, and they kind of waited for the clock to go down, and it was like a real simulated, let's call timeout. And it was ended up being, I couldn't tell from where I was at, a 56 or a 57-yarder, and Jonah Dalmas drilled it for the offense there. So nothing new, I guess. A long field goal, an accurate field goal, and we haven't talked a ton about the specialists because they really haven't done a ton. And to be honest, the first week of fall camp, that's not when you have 2, potential All-Americans that use your kicker and your punter. You kind of can look other ways. But in the 2-minute offense, Jonah Dalmas nailing. I couldn't tell if it was 56 or 57. They were behind the 55. It was a long field goal, and he hit it as you'd expect, halfway up the netting where there was still more room to go. But a good sign there, and nicely done by Jonah Dalmas.
Yeah, I think yeah, maybe not like a ton of work on the field by the specialists, but a ton of special teams work, a ton of special teams work. And again, maybe we just have more access to practice, but it seems like whether it be like the return game, fundamentals, things like that, it seems like they are doing quite a bit of special teams work. And I think that, you're going to see really good players play on special teams this year. I think they're going to want to draw the best out of that group. And if that means playing some starters, that means playing some starters. Jonah Dalmas is about as automatic as there is right now, I think, when it comes to a kicker. He walks out on the field, whether it be in practice or a game, and you don't even question it, man. Like I remember early in his career where he'd run out there and be like 46, I don't know, it's getting a little deep. Now every time he trots out on the field, it doesn't matter the distance. You're like, oh, he's gonna make that. I one so A few takeaways for me is that they are doing, whether it be return stuff like that. It seems like they are definitely emphasizing special teams a little more this year. Jonah Dalmas, automatic when he goes out there. They're also kind of putting him in pressure situations, even for practice, where it can be at the end of the drive, and he has to, you can tell he's anticipating, like he's got to run out there and make a kick. It's not like, "Oh, okay, this is the special teams time. Jonah's going to have time to warm up and make 3 kicks." It's no, every kick seems to have an urgency to it, and he's just cool, calm, and collect with whatever that is. Um, a couple other guys to point out, you know, haven't talked about Cam Camper a lot, and I hope he's coming back from his injury and everything, but that guy practices really, really hard. And Prince Strawn raved about him last week, and it just seems like if he's good, he's gonna impact this team. Another guy that, we don't really talk about because the wide receiver room is so deep. And in all honesty, I don't know what his role on the team will be, but I feel like he deserves some type of shout out. I think Ben Ford has had a pretty good fall camp so far. Like, he's made some great sideline catches and some contested catches. And he's a former Eagle High Mustang that was really good at baseball and played quarterback in high school just because he was a crazy athlete. Um, but he finally looks healthy, and he's a guy that we don't talk about much, but I just feel
And
like he deserves a bit of a shout out because I have been impressed with what I've seen from Ben Ford in such a short amount of time. And again, I can't predict he's going to start or even play that much,
yeah.
but he's trying to throw his name in the hat for sure.
Well, again, we can't get too specific on things, so there's a line we got to toe. But I mean, Ben Ford was maybe getting some first team reps yesterday at practice for one reason
Yeah.
or another. I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing something to work his way up, even if there is some other stuff going on. But yeah, local kid deserves it. What do you make of the O line? I talked to Roger Carreon and Ben Dooley yesterday after practice. They got some guys shuffling around too, and I know that's what you do in camp. Try guys at different combinations, and again, I think day 5 of fall camp, tweaks and bruises, Jay, are different than game week tweaks and bruises, and you're being a lot more careful than others. So there was a lot of people yesterday with Prater and I freaking out on the video that they didn't see certain receivers out there and things, and it is what it is. And again, we can't really talk about specifics of who was practicing and who wasn't, but I wouldn't put too much stock into videos you see and things you see on the 5th day of fall camp as being super serious. I just think you take tweaks of a hammy and things a little differently to be careful on the 5th day of fall camp. But with that said, in the O-line, what do you make of where they're at and that battle at right tackle? And obviously that's going to be an important group.
Yeah, I am also very, very optimistic about the offensive line this year. I just really like what I've seen so far up there. There's not a lot of position juggling. It's really funny, BJ. I just feel like these last couple of years leading into fall camp, it would have been like, we could have asked this year, is Cage Casey going to start at left tackle? And the answer would have been, I don't know. We're going to move guys around and see where they fit best. And this year, it's like, no, Cage is the freaking left tackle, and Ben Dooley's a guard, and Mason Randolph's going to be your center, and Roger Carreon is your starting right guard. And like, there's just a great amount of clarity on it. Maybe the players have basically made this like not really much of a conversation because they're all so good. But I just feel like in years past, it was like we could never admit to what we're seeing, and there's always this game. But I'm really high on the offensive line, and if I was actually going to bring up Roger Carreon, because if you want to just talk about, again, fall camp observations outside of the obvious that we've all talked about, I think Roger Carreon is going to be just a massive player for this team, not only this year but in the years to come. I was really impressed 2 practices ago. The first team offense they threw an interception, and Roger Carreon was like the vocal leader of why what happened. And he got some of the guys together along with Ashton Genty on the sideline, and it was like, we're fixing this now. It's not wait till afterwards. It wasn't wait for a coach to come talk to us. There was some awesome player-led accountability, and Roger is only a sophomore, right? And so I thought that was just a really cool moment, and Roger's going to be a big part of this team, not only in the present but the future.
No doubt. And I don't want to give too much away, but I am working on a story on Roger Carreon in good old Jal, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down with Roger for almost 15 minutes yesterday, and may play some of the interview tomorrow since there's no interviews today. It's just, man, not a single stoplight in the entire town. And then he says, oh, I take that back. There's one that flashes. That's our big intersection there in the middle of town, but not a single fast food restaurant. Not a single Walmart. I mean, it is about as small of a middle of the nowhere town you can get. And he is the first Division I player for football to ever come out of his high school. And just the kind of story of how Boise State found him, and what, even though it says Broncos and Carreon on his jersey, he's playing for Jal, New Mexico, in his little community there. And It's a pretty cool story. And I know you know about it, but I'm going to try to tell it a little more for fans in the next week or two when we get some time here. But I had a great chat with him, and I'm communicating with his mother as well. I'm going to talk to her and get some old picture. He laughed and got a little nervous when I said, does your mom have some old pictures I'm sure I can use? And he goes, and I said, maybe I shouldn't have told you that, but I'm sure there's going to be some good ones of him, because those old linemen, a lot of times, Jay, they kind of add the weight and stuff when they look nothing like they used to when they were back in high school or whatever. But Jal, New Mexico, Roger Carreon, and it just tells you, if you can play football and you've got tape and you've got, the character and the determination, everything else, like, they'll find you from anywhere, man. They'll find these guys from St. John Bosco High School that have 20 Division I players, wherever else, and they'll find you from Jal, New Mexico, a town of barely 2,000 with not a stoplight in the whole town.
Yeah, one thing I will say, BJ, and it might even be a little bit of the elephant in the room. The last couple of years, there was some disconnect in some very important areas. But I will say this, man, when it comes to talent, these last couple of years, they did a good job of going out and getting and finding some good roster talent. And whether that be Roger Carreon that's starting as a sophomore on the offensive line, or Cage Casey that's starting as a sophomore on the offensive line, or Ashton Genty, who is a Heisman Trophy candidate. I could kind of keep going on here. They Ty Benefield, who seems like he could play anywhere in America if he really chose to. They have found some very, very good talent these last couple of years, and I don't think you can always say that about past head coaches, that whether it be Boise State or other programs, they haven't always left the cupboard completely stocked, and they did a good job of mixing and matching and finding some roster complements in the transfer portal this year.
Yeah,
but I just I think that's one thing to notice or acknowledge.
And I will say, and again, I'm giving away a lot of my story here, but typically when a first contact happens with a recruit as a sophomore in high school, junior in high school, whatever, it's the recruiting director, it's a GA, it's somebody who first says, hey, we liked your tape, we'd love to reach out to you. The first ever communication from Roger Carreon was from Andy Avalos, who sent a text to him and said, hey, I just saw your tape, liked it. We'd love to set up a Zoom call next week. And it kind of went from there. And so that is my understanding, atypical or not typical for the head coach to be the first one to reach out to the head coach. Sometimes doesn't even come in till they're ready to make an offer with kids, after he's already been on a visit or whatever else. And for him to be the first one out of anybody at Boise State to reach out, and that is noticeable. That is for him. And he told me on his, that they had to fly into a town 40 miles away into like a private airfield and drive over. But one of the coaches that was on that visit was our BNN, employee here, I guess you could say, Kent Riddle. And so I talked to Kent last night and going to talk to some more to him about that visit and what it was like landing and driving over. And I want to kind of just paint that whole picture of the Jal, New Mexico visit with the family coming to his house and the coaches and everything. And so Tim Plow was part of that too. And then Keene and Avalos, I believe, are the 4 that came on the private plane to come see him down there. So, just kind of a cool side story. They can find you anywhere, and it's crazy how that works out. Jay, final couple of minutes here. Any other storylines for you defensively? You mentioned, I think it was, I always get the new numbers mixed up. Irby is now 6, right?
Correct.
I believe he had another pick yesterday at one point during practice, so he continues to be a ball hawk. Any defensive? We've talked to a line, receivers, running backs. Anything you want to go defensively here?
No, man. Jeremiah Irby is a great player to bring up. I mean, he's created a number of turnovers, and again, not being too short-sighted, I just, in terms of one cornerback going out and getting the sheer number of interceptions that he has, whether it be, spring camp, the fall camp combined, at the very least, it is noticeable how much he is around the football and his ability to create turnovers. Jaden Virgin Morgan looks different than he did last year. He seems poised to make a massive, massive jump. A little worried about the depth behind him, maybe a little bit more so than even Ahmed, who has Tavion Woodard backing him up, who's got a ton of experience. But I think the defense has a chance to really rebound this year and play more consistent football. I feel good about that. Braxton Feely, Herb Gums are now really, really experienced veterans. Watching Braxton, 2 days ago at practice, he's just hit the point in his career where it feels like, when you first arrive, you're focusing on all this. And then once you get to his point, you're just focusing on these, these marginal gains. And he was just a technician at practice the other day. And so go for it.
No, sorry to cut you off. You're talking about Braxton Feely.
Yeah. I feel like this defense has a chance to make a jump this year. I do.
Yeah, and I know there's one of the storylines is obviously Chinander taking over as the play caller, and some things there. And I did notice yesterday, and maybe we get a chance to talk to Spencer, I'll notice it, but even yesterday, he's down at the offensive end a lot. And it's for a defensive guy. And I know he's got a lot of decisions to make, particularly with the quarterback battle, but it's just interesting for a guy that his entire life has been a defensive coach and been with the defense to now literally when he has to look where to go. I think 80% of the time I see him down there with the offense.
Yeah. I have no idea the percentage, but he is all over the field. He does not just, he does not gravitate to where he was used to being in practice. That is for absolute certain. And it's really funny you say that, though, BJ, because I was talking with Ahmed Hassanin the other day, and he pointed out, he was like, yeah, in team, the offense did something well, and Spencer Danielson was cheering for them and fired up. And Ahmed was like, hey, I thought we were boys. What happened? You used to be a defensive guy. So I think that kind of validates your point that he is in just trying. He said painting the picture of Jal, New Mexico, just the same analogy. He really does a tremendous job, I think, of floating through practice, though.
It may be 20 seconds, but he makes his way to every position group, every corner. Yeah, but which every head coach does.
He's quick to hype up a guy, but I know a big part of Chris Peterson was at practice a couple days this weekend, right? And I know a big thing with Pete wasn't, he would certainly jump out and coach a player, but I really hope I'm getting this right, man. But I still feel like a massive part of who he is and what he was about was coaching the coaches so they could coach. And I feel like that was an important thing for him, to where he wouldn't have to jump in front of a linebackers coach and say, this is how we're going to do it, while the linebackers coach stood in the background, right? I'm sure there are instances where that can happen, but he was very big on that process. And I feel like I see something very similar out of Spencer Danielson. He will be the first person to hype up a dude or anything like that, challenge a guy maybe for effort, but outside of that, his position coach is coach. And I think that autonomy is awesome for them.
Yep, no doubt. Jay, I'm going to keep this going for a little while, but I don't want to keep you past your allotted time. Any full practice tomorrow, man? Any final thoughts?
Nothing, man. It's just been awesome. This has been great and a whole lot of fun today.
I was for sure. Somebody said what would happen if Prater came on and gave the double middle finger.
You know what? I was just thinking about that, but Johnny already dropped a swear word on the chat box this morning, so I'm not going to go there. But if Prater wants to test that out, please let me know how it goes.
I thought during the ad read you were going to turn off the filter, man.
I have no idea how. I have no clue how.
That's awesome, man. This might be the best single show we've had in the history of BNN. But Jay, I'm going to keep this rolling for a little bit. We got some comments and questions in the chat, and I'm not in a huge hurry to roll. So if folks want to stay, I'll hang out for a little bit. But we appreciate you, and we will talk to you Friday. We may have to touch base on Friday. It's a morning practice, and maybe we can get you to meet us down in the parking lot a little early and do it down there before we go in, or we'll figure something out on Friday. But appreciate you, man.
Sounds good, buddy. Have a good day.
All right, there he is, Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. Make sure you're watching all the KTVB newscasts and stuff. Him and Brady are doing a great job on all the very evening newscasts and things, and getting stuff on KTVB.com as well. So, Jay, thanks again, and check them out, KTVB.com. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, the spateam.com. Check them out. The Rains family, we could not be happier with our Flash Limelight Collection 7-seat hot spring. It's a rejuvenating experience for us. Spacious interior, up to 7 people. And again, there's pods in the footwell houses for precision directional jets for a foot massage in nearly every seat. We're so happy with our Flash Limelight Spa from Snake River Pool and Spa. And again, great, affordable, competitive pricing, and the delivery process was very easy. We loved it. It was awesome, and we'll be telling you more about it moving forward. But if you're looking, as the weather starts to cool down here in the fall, highly recommend the team at Snake River Pool and Spa, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, the new location out in Nampa. If you're looking for a spa, I highly recommend it. It was great customer service, great, and we're happy to be a customer there. So much so we wanted to get them on board as a sponsor. So check them out, the spateam.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, you see Jonah Dalmas there. They got 4 student athletes, 4 football players, 6 student athletes total on NIL deals, driving their vehicles around town. So check them out, lithiafordboise.com. They are doing a lot for Boise State, and you can return the favor for your next car or truck purchase and make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. TacoBellWorks.com. They are hiring. If you need a job, this is a Taco Bell Tuesday, told you earlier in the show, but TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. They are doing a lot of big things for BNN, but also for Boise State and the student athletes and the whole community here. So check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. They've got the endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball teams. And again, they are hiring. So free food while you work and great benefits and things. So check them out, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. And again, we're going to be doing a live show there in the next week or two, getting out to Taco Bell. And next time you're looking for a meal for the family, make sure you hit up our friends over at Taco Bell. Next time you need some Boise State gear, hit up the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. They got all the jerseys, the new uniforms, the Ashton Genty Heisman shirts, the NIL shirts, all your Boise State gear for the season. The color schemes are out, so make sure you go check out the Blue and Orange Store, the Boise Town Square Mall, second floor next to Pro Image there, or you can go online, the blueandorangestore.com. TCS, you need a job and get into the trucking industry. It's a great booming industry right now. Check them out, transcompservice.com. All your trucking paperwork and things to get out there towing that first load in no time. Maybe you didn't think about the trucking industry, but you should for a new career path, and you get more information at transcompservice.com. And our friends over at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com, leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. They got 10,000 combinations. It's all healthy meals. And again, they're feeding the football team. They're feeding the basketball team. They've got NIL deals with Ahmed and Tyson and some of the other student athletes. Great healthy eating, and the best part for me is the convenience. 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're eating steak and shrimp and veggies. It's fully customizable, so highly recommend checking them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. They now deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley, so you can make an order right now and have it by lunchtime at your office or your home or wherever you're at. So fully customizable. Highly recommend the folks at LeanFeastMeridian.com. Check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. And Circa, I just talked to Connor Johnstone this morning. He's got his hotel booked. If you want to go down in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we're going down for contest weekend. We cannot wait to go down there. It's $1,000 entry for the 2 contests. You can get some buddies together, though, and it's only a couple $100. And again, the folks that won the millions last year had 4 guys that each put in $250, and they won $1 million off of it. So they each got $250K. So if you like NFL and you like having a little stake in the game and you want to gamble a little bit, it's 100% legal in the state of Idaho to do either the Survivor or the Million contest using Tom Carroll VegasFootballProxy.com. So you have to sign up in Vegas, but here's the deal. You can sign up to 10 people at once. So the BNN crew is heading down in 2 weeks to do some shows down there. We can sign you up. If you and your buddies want to get in or you're interested in getting in, we can sign you up for the contest down there. And then you're able to make your picks each week through our proxy, Tom Carroll at VegasFootballProxy.com. And again, I can't stress this enough. It is 100% legal in the state of Idaho or any other state where there's no gambling. So you do have to sign up in the state of Nevada, but we can sign you up when we're down there, and then you can play from anywhere. So if you're interested, Circa is one of our big sponsors. Let's get a lot of people signed up. Let's have some fun. And if you can make it down to Vegas in 2 weeks, they've got all kinds of cool events and open bar events and parties and things. So make sure you check them out at Vegas Football Proxy, VegasFootballProxy.com. So I would highly recommend you signing up for the Circa contest. And again, we can sign you up if you're not going to be down there. We're going down in 2 weeks. And I'll throw another plug in. Speaking of Vegas, we are going down for the football game. Late October, the football game. It's a Friday night. We got a $500 package that gets round trip airfare on Southwest, 2 nights at the D, Las Vegas, a pregame party at Circa, and you get transportation in a nice bus over to the game and back. So it's a great package. And if you're looking to go down for the football game in October, you want to have a weekend in Vegas, reach out to me, email me, rains@BroncoNationNews.com. We would love to have you guys join us down there. It's going to be a lot of fun for that football game. And again, they're going to have all kinds of, pregame events and things for us. And as I mentioned, the transportation is a big one as well. So airfare, hotel, pregame party, all kinds of cool stuff. We would love to have it. And Melinda Draper, she's coming down for contest weekend. So you want to hang with the Draper family? We're looking forward to being down there and hanging with them. And again, if you're able to make it down, we'd love to have you for the contest weekend. Otherwise, we can help sign you up, and then you can make the picks yourself. Clint says, I've bought from the Blue and Orange store for years. It's never changed. Ordered a shirt in July. Still on the order. Slip it on. Put Go Broncos. Never gets old. So, Clint, we appreciate you for supporting the sponsors. We love all of our sponsors. Again, I know sometimes when you're watching a live show, you don't want to have the commercial break or have me reel off the sponsors, but that's literally the only way you're watching a free show here on Bronco Nation News is thanks to our sponsors that make this show free, many of which are major sponsors you see behind us. Need to get a new one of these made with the Taco Bell logo, though. Taco Bell is doing a lot for us here. We need to add that in here in the future. So all of our great sponsors, please support them. Let's see. Jol, New Mexico is in the southeast corner of the state. Yes, it is. I'm going to be writing about Jol, New Mexico here in the next week or two. Really enjoyed talking to Roger Carreon. Let's see. The more Spencer Danielson learns about the offense, the better he can pick the new OC in 5 months. That is true. But it is interesting once you become a head coach, how little coaching you actually do. You're more of the CEO, and it's a lot of team meetings and talks, but the assistant coaches are the ones that are really grinding in practice, coaching all these drills, and Spencer's kind of moving, kind of overseeing everything going from drill to drill, but you don't really do the actual amount of coaching that you do when you're a position coach. Are we now able to give Andy Avalos credit for something? I think he deserves credit, obviously, for some of the players you're seeing that they recruited. Jay mentioned a lot of them, but they brought in some talent. Ashton Genty was a part of that. I mean, they've brought in some serious players that they brought in under Andy Avalos's, leadership, I guess you can say, while he was the head coach. Update on the sound system and the new LED logo. You know what? I don't know the answer to that. Sorry, my smoke detector is going off in my house there. My kids must be burning something. Let's see. The sound system is supposed to be in by it'll be in by the home opener is the plan. Before the home opener, they will have it in. I don't know if it'll be in before the season actually starts, but the plan is to have the new sound system still in, and that should be going before the first home game of the season. They do have the 2 road games to start the season, and then they have the bye week after that. So they have 3 extra weeks, but my understanding is it is still on track to have the sound system in before the first home game of the season. In terms of the LED, I know it's on the back, but I don't know I don't know the answer to that in terms of when the lighting part of that will be. Melinda says, need to check out the new spa sponsor. Yes, Snake River Pool and Spa. Yes, we can hook you up with a deal, Melinda. That would be awesome. Appreciate you, Melinda. Melinda may single-handedly support more of our sponsors than anyone. I know you guys do a great job with helping support the sponsors, but we really appreciate the Draper family for always going out of their way to support the sponsors, and we're very appreciative of that. As my smoke detector continues to go off in my house here, trying to see if there's any other comments here going on. If the house burns down and this was the last show, guys, it's been a great run here at BNN. But let's see if we got any other comments. People are asking about injuries and things. Again, we can't get too specific. There were some guys on the sidelines yesterday, but I'm guessing it's just early in camp. No need to push some guys, but we can't get too specific on any of that kind of stuff. I do want to throw in a plug for our YouTube channel here. We are trying to continue to build this YouTube channel. A lot of our shows are going to move to YouTube only. So if you're watching on Facebook, like the Dorns are here and some other folks on X, the easiest way to make sure you don't miss future broadcasts is to follow us on YouTube. There should be a little button in the bottom where you can subscribe. While you're there, if you can go ahead and like the broadcast, that would help us right now. It takes 2 seconds to like it. We got 140 of you watching on YouTube right now, and we don't have nearly that many likes. So if you can just hit that like button, that would really help us out, and it shows up in the algorithms and things a little bit better. So if you could help us out with that, we would really appreciate that. And we're trying to build the YouTube channel. We have surpassed 5,000. Now we're going for 6,000 on the YouTube channel there. We got 36,000 that go to a football game every Saturday, and we got a little over 5,000 on YouTube. So let's get that up where it should be. And speaking of which, we are 53 subscribers, paying subscribers away from 1,000. If we can get to 1,000, maybe we can come up with some sort of contest we can do or something we can give away, but we're trying to get to 1,000 paid subscribers. That was a goal I had for about 5 years, and 5-year goal, I guess it was, and we're not even to 3 years of BNN yet, and we're approaching 1,000 paid subscribers. So if you're one of the 15 or so that joined during the first week of fall camp, we really appreciate you guys. If you're on the fence, we would love to have you. Tonight, 8 o'clock, by the way, I was thinking of making this subscriber only, but I think tonight we'll go one more. We'll make it open to everybody so you kind of see what you get, and then we may make it subscriber only for the next week's show. But Riley and Rid will be live tonight at 8 o'clock at the James. If you're in the area and want to come up and ask some in-person questions to Riley and Rid, Brad Bedell is going to be the special guest tonight. So 8 o'clock tonight, make sure you come back for a live broadcast, Riley Rid and Brad Bedell, and that's going to be fun. Anytime Brad Bedell jumps on, you get some great stories and some great conversations. So 8 o'clock tonight, feel free to come up to the James if you'd like, and you can ask some questions, meet the guys in person. Otherwise, make plans to come back and join us here on the BNN YouTube channel for Riley and Rid tonight at 8 o'clock. So looking forward to every Tuesday at 8 o'clock from here on out. You'll have Kent Riddle and Riley Smith. They're going to have some special guests to come on the various shows and hang out with them. And Brad Bedell's coming up to hang out on the couch tonight. So that'll be 8 o'clock with Riley and Rid and Brad Bedell tonight. But as I said, we're going to be starting Ball Talk back up here in a couple of weeks. That's going to be on Wednesdays this year. So we'll have Tuesday and Wednesday evening shows. We've got the Tyson Degenhardt show. So we continue to try to add shows and add things and make it worth your while. But if you're able to, we'd love to have you subscribe. It's just $50 for an entire year of coverage using that promo code. All of Mike Prater's weekly columns, my stories, are going to be behind that paywall this year. So BNN 50 deal. It's just $50 for a full year. We'd love to have you if you can help us out. And again, if you're on the fence, maybe we can try to find a gift card or something to throw in for you. I don't know, but $50 for a full year is worth it. It's like $4 a month. We do have the $6.99 monthly option if you'd rather spread it out and pay monthly, but you end up paying more over the course of the year. So we'd love to have your support, whether it be with a paid subscription, whether it be just subscribing on YouTube, whether it's just liking the video in the corner of the screen there. But maybe most importantly, please go support the sponsors. If you go eat at Taco Bell or Lean Feast, or if you go support, Western Collective and eat down there at Due West or whatever, just snap a picture, and we'd love to we'd love to see that you're able to support the sponsors, and then I can show the sponsors. And you may not think it matters, but a small tweet or Instagram post going to Taco Bell or going to the Blue and Orange store does go a long way. So we would appreciate that. And I mentioned it early in the show, our new studio sponsor, Western Collective, they have a deal going right now. Due West is their new American fine dining restaurant. It's inside as part of the Western Collective space in downtown Boise on Idaho Street. For the month of August, if you go there, you get a free appetizer and a free dessert if you purchase 2 entrees. So if you go to BroncoNationNews.com, we have a link that you can click to make your reservation, or you can use this QR code to make your reservation. And it's American Fine Dining. You're going to absolutely love what Carrie and his staff have going on at Due West. And again, it's a fresh take on American fine dining inspired by contemporary Western culture. And again, they've got tableside, made bone marrow old fashioned. You can get a smoked sage margarita, duck tostados, whipped feta, elk meatballs. They've got the bison ribeye if you're looking for a steak. So we appreciate our new studio sponsor, Western Collective. If you can return the favor and go down there and try them out for a meal, I would really appreciate it. And again, they can track how many folks do this. So let's get a lot of folks to go use the QR code or the registration link and get that free appetizer. It's both. You get a free appetizer and a free dessert with the purchase of 2 entrees. So get down there and check out Due West and help support all the sponsors of Bronco Nation News. And again, we are very appreciative for all of them for their support. We're appreciative of you for all your support. And we're going to continue to try to provide the best coverage we can of Boise State athletics here moving forward. So excited for where we're going. We'll have John Mallory at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, we're going down to Vegas in a couple weeks. If you want to get in those contests, let me know. We'd be happy to sign you up. And then if you're interested in the Vegas trip for the football game, we can get you in on that as well. We got some spots left to fly down and go see the football game in Vegas in late October. That is the same weekend as Raiders Chiefs. So it's going to be a fun popping weekend in Vegas. Can't wait for that. So no practice today. We'll still get some footage up from yesterday. I'm going to work on a story as well. We'll have content on BroncoNationNews.com. And then tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Johnny and I will be outside Albertson Stadium for our live show. And then it'll be the first practice of fall camp in full pads. So the intensity will really ratchet it up. Full padded practice tomorrow, and we'll have all the highlights and coverage for you at BroncoNationNews.com. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Make sure you're listening to our friends Prater and Johnny, Idaho Sports Talk today at 3 o'clock. Check out Jay Tust and all the sportscasts on KTVB tonight. And again, please hit that like button there in the bottom of the screen. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And if you have an extra $50 laying around, we'd love for you to join our family here as a BNN subscriber. You get a daily email. You get exclusive content, discounts, all kinds of cool stuff that we're going to continue to add value to moving forward in terms of only putting some of these shows. There may even be a game where we only put the pre and post game shows for paid subscribers also. I think that's going to happen one game this year at a minimum. You have to be a paying subscriber to see our pre and post game shows. So help us out. Subscribe if you can. Use that promo code BNN50 deal at the bottom. And we would love to have you join us. So thank you so much. Record viewership again today. We continue to add viewers and add subscribers, and we're just so thankful. So jump on now if you can, because we're taking this thing to new heights here moving forward. So going to be a fun season. Already been a first fun week of fall camp. It's going to continue. I got to go make sure my house didn't burn down. But appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Again, coverage coming all day at BNN. And then tomorrow morning, Johnny and I will be outside the stadium with our live morning show. But tonight, 8 o'clock, Riley and Rid and Brad Bedell live from the James for Riley and Rid. Make sure you come back and join us on the YouTube channel at 8 o'clock. And if you're in the area, stop by and have a great cocktail or thing at the James there tonight at 8 o'clock. So hope to talk to you guys later and see you at 8. Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News. From the Western Collective Studios, our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. It's a Taco Bell Tuesday. This is Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.